Government corruption has never been more prevalent or caused more harm. It's why extremism is on the rise. It's why the financial gap between the haves and have-nots has never been wider. And it's why our planet is at risk of an extinction level tragedy. That's why I need your help to keep exposing the truth about the rot on both sides of the aisle. Become a supporter or a friend of the show today by clicking on the coffee link in the description box below. Friends of the show join me on a Zoom hangout once a month, and you guys can ask me any questions you want, and I can get to know you better. But the most important reason to help is to keep the show alive. Together, we can and will save our country and our planet. Thanks in advance and enjoy the show. Hey everyone, so this is part 3 of this reporting I'm doing today on all of the information that's come out over the weekend about Trump and this raid at Mar-a-Lago. What I want to talk about in this segment is how Trump and his allies are targeting FBI agents and the judge, and how Trump just ratcheted everything up, how he just made that all worse. First of all, Fox News has defamed the judge who signed the search warrant. Fox actor, because I refuse to call him a journalist or a reporter, Brian Kilmeade, had filled in for Sucker Carlson the other night. He shared a really famous photo that was taken on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. In it, the abhorrent, infamous child predator was leaning back in a chair. He had his legs up, and his longtime girlfriend and convicted co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, was rubbing his feet. However, the image that Kilmeade showed had been altered. The face of the judge who signed this warrant for Trump's search and seizure, Bruce Reinhart, his face had been superimposed over Epstein's face. Now, when Kilmeade showed this on the show, he didn't explain that this was a joke, that this, was an altered photo. It looked to the audience as if this judge was sitting on a plane getting his foot rubbed by Ghislaine Maxwell. Kilmeade later tweeted out that the photo was meant in jest, but I don't think this moron had any idea that that wasn't a real image. And how many of the show's viewers actually saw his tweet after he defamed this judge? I would imagine very few Fox News viewers have Twitter accounts. In the meantime, their rhetoric continues to place the FBI at risk. You guys all know about the guy who shot up the Ohio FBI facility and was killed last week by agents. On Friday, also, the FBI and Department of Homeland Security issued a joint intelligence bulletin, and they warned that violent threats, quote, are occurring primarily online and across multiple platforms, including social media sites, web forums, video sharing platforms, and image boards. They even said that some of the messages, quote, include a threat to place a so-called dirty bomb in front of FBI headquarters and, quote, general calls for civil war and armed rebellion. And then over the weekend, Trump supporters protested outside of an FBI office in Arizona, some of whom were armed with rifles. We also know the judge who signed the warrant has been receiving death threats, and then Trump supporters are doxing him online, also his family members. And prior to the official unsealing of the warrant, someone from Trump's team leaked the unredacted version of the warrant to the alt-right extremist website Breitbart. Breitbart then published this document, which revealed the names of the 2 FBI agents who signed off on the search. Then a former Trump aide, a guy named Garrett Ziegler, doxed the agents. He doxed their family members and at least one of their children. Ziegler posted on Telegram and Truth Social, and he said, quote, this is one of the 2 feds who signed the receipt for property form, which detailed at a very high level the fishing expedition that the FBI performed at Mar-a-Lago. He went on to share the agents' birthdays, and he shared their work email addresses, and then he shared links to their family members' social media accounts. So he's not just sicking these people on the FBI agents, he's actually sicking them on their family members. And then when another Truth Social user shared a photo of one of the agents, Ziegler replied, quote, hope he doesn't get a good night's sleep for the rest of 2022. Now, Truth Social did delete Ziegler's original post with the agent's information, but how many people already saw it? How many people already saved the information? And then Ziegler continued. He continued his rant on the encrypted messaging app called Telegram. He said, quote, Truth Social just took down the post for zero reason, didn't violate 18 USC 119 or anything else. And then he went on to say, quote, we have to have faces. There are people ruining America and they have names and emails and addresses. To what end, Ziegler? And then Trump himself goes on Fox News basically to incite his supporters even more. He talked out of both sides of his mouth. First, he said, quote, people are so angry at what is taking place, whatever we can do to help, because the temperature has to be brought down in the country. If it isn't, terrible things are going to happen. And then he said, quote, I've never seen anything like this. It is a very dangerous time for our country. I will do whatever I can to help the country. Then he continued to incite his domestic terrorists. He said, quote, there's tremendous anger like I've never seen before over all of the scams and this new one, years of scams and witch hunts, and now this. Then he said, quote, the people of this country are not going to stand for another scam. And quote, years of fake witch hunts and phony Russia schemes and scams. Nothing happens to those people who perpetuate that. Nothing happens with them. And then they break into a president's house, a sneak attack where it was totally, no one ever thought a thing like this would happen. So once again, you guys, we see the arsonist pretending to be concerned about the 4-alarm fire that he set while he's still rushing in with another gallon of gasoline. This guy is a stochastic terrorist. And so are so many of the people who work for him and who align themselves with him. As I said the other day, they need to be taken down. They need to be behind bars for the rest of their lives where they can cause no more harm to this country. I'm all for free speech, but this is incitement. Period. Full stop. This is incitement. Anyway, guys, when and if I hear more, I'll let you know. If you haven't already, go back and watch the other 2 videos that I already posted about all of this. There's good information in each one. So take care. I'll talk with you soon.